Welcome to the 60 Plus Podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. How are you, Janet?
I think I'm good today. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, I'm doing very well. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. For non-regular listeners, I'm constantly correcting Janet's grammar.
It's not really working very well,
No,
Joe.
it's not.
Sorry. You're going to have to try a little harder.
And it bothers her tremendously. That's why I keep doing it. Did you have fun on the last episode where we celebrated our 1-year anniversary?
I did. We had champagne. I think we should do that more often.
Well, I said it during the episode that we should drink on every episode.
I agree. But it's going to have to be after 5 o'clock when we record that.
No, it doesn't. Nobody knows what time we're recording.
Oh, okay. All right, then. I'm in.
I mean, have you ever had a Bloody Mary at brunch or a mimosa? That's a yes.
Suppose I have. Maybe once or twice in my life.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, Janet?
We have a real talk guest today. Our first one for our second year.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a man.
How come every time you say man, you say it like that?
Look, Ma, what I found, a man.
I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair.
So, yes, we want to introduce David. Hello, David.
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you both.
Same here. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
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 He doesn't really know what he's in for.
No, I'm scared to death.
Well, I told him there'd be no math, but he did have some trouble with the alphabet when we were doing his sound check.
Yeah, so, we're hoping that this is going to go well. We'll see.
Right. Let's hope. That's why we record ahead of time and don't do it live.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I pictured you in a police outfit, and that got me a little nervous.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
So Real Talk episodes are when we ask our guests 10 questions about being over 60 or 60. So the first question that doesn't count in the 10, you have to admit to being at least 60.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He doesn't look at everyone.
No,
He doesn't look at all.
Strangely to say that, though, when you hear it,
I
you
know.
don't really think it.
I know. It was the first time I admitted it when we started this podcast a year ago.
It wasn't even then. It was like 10 episodes in.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I guess I have to admit it now.
Reminded that I'm old occasionally with my younger brother. He'll look at me. I think it was during COVID where he goes, "How do you feel about it?" I go, "I feel good. I feel really good about it. If I get it, I think I'll survive." And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah." And I go, "Yeah, but I worry about the older folks." And he goes, "You are the older folks."
No, we were in the high risk pool.
Right. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I get reminded that I'm old all the time. So
I had coffee with a friend that I've known for many, many, many years who's literally 2.5 months younger than me. And during the conversation, he was referring to people your age, Joe. People your age.
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 months. Come on. All right. Let's get to the questions. How do you feel about being 60 plus?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think good. I mean, 60 is the new 20, right? I feel
Wow,
like
that's
I'm really
generous.
pushing that. Yeah, I added a few years.
That's a leap.
That's a big leap. But no, I feel good. I always see Janet at the gym, so I can't say that, it does help, right, Janet? I mean, it
Yeah,
does.
absolutely.
Your flexibility, all that physically, I don't feel like I'm 60 at all. 61 actually. So, but I don't feel it at all. No, I feel great.
What do you think would feel like it? What
Oh,
about it?
Lord. Yeah. I mean, not to pick on people, but I've seen people younger that look, like they're older than us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just through my eyesight, but I just feel like, wow, they I had a gentleman who kind of came over to visit for work, overweight, and he was, out of breath coming up the stairs, and I was helping him down the stairs, and he was 15 years younger than me. So
Yeah.
it just, I guess taking care of your body in a good way, I suppose. Eat well, and yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I
It
do
makes a
feel
huge difference.
pretty good with it. Yeah. The hair follicles are gone, but I mean, what else? Yeah. Can't do anything about that.
I've said, I'll take the little bit of the love handles. I'll take that. I'll take the stiff knees when I stand up after sitting in a chair for a long time. The hair.
Yeah,
follicle
that's why I wear the
challenges.
hat. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
hair is overrated. Don't worry
right?
about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Janet, how far do you travel to your hairdresser?
Okay. You do have a point there. But you have to know, I've been going to my hairdresser since 1993.
It's overrated, I hear.
Well, it's more than just, getting my hair done.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
I do go to
It's a
the
whole thing.
barber, but I feel kind of weird about it because I don't have that many hair follicles to cut. And I feel like I should get a discount. I feel like walking in there and going, hey, I only have 60% of my hair. I should get 60% off. That's kind of like a Larry David thing, right? Wouldn't you think like they would say, yeah, it's not a lot of work. I think they pretend like they're cutting your hair to give you more time in there.
Right. But of course,
to
if
make you
they're
feel good.
grooming other things like ears and eyebrows and whatnot, then, then it kind of
Well,
evens out.
It's growing faster these days, the ears and the nose and yeah.
It just appears out of nowhere. Like one day, all of a sudden, there's like an inch-long hair sticking out of the top of my ear.
He's like, wow, you look so young. I go, well, you trim a few nose hairs and you drop it 10 years.
Yeah. So I kind of agree with you, except I think it all evens out because when I was in my 20s and I had the giant afro and it took half an hour to cut my hair instead of 5 minutes, it's kind of evened out.
I
Right.
remember my brother getting the perm at one year. I never laughed so hard in my life. I mean, it was during the Brady Bunch days when the,
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh, sure.
father and Greg got one, I think, and he went from straight hair to curly. He did the same thing, and I never laughed so hard. We still got pictures of him to crucify once in a while, which is great. So
Yeah, that's always good to
so,
crucify
yeah,
your
so, yeah,
siblings.
brothers. I mean, we do it to each other all the time. But no, it's my age is. I feel great. Like I said, I don't even think about myself being 61
Right.
anymore. You know?
Right. Well, you may have already answered this next question. Complete the sentence. You know you're 60 plus when?
Oof. Yeah, we kind of went over some stuff with that. Yeah, I know it when I'm with my kids because my kids are always picking on me with that. I don't think I ever remind myself of it. I
Right.
think other people do, and it's mostly the kids. It's funny to hear them when they pick up the phone. They always say, "Hey, old man," or something like
Right.
that. And it's always something, but it's all done out of love. We do love each other, and it's so funny to hear them picking on me. And they believe me, they get it back. But yeah, I get reminded by it
Right.
occasionally.
I wish my dad was still around because I'd like to apologize for him for all the ribbing I gave him about not being able to read the menu in the restaurant when the lights dim. And,
My dad's 90, and
Oh,
every
that's
time,
great.
every time I ask him, how do you feel? And he goes, I feel like I'm 26 and a half. And I go, half? Why do you throw the half in? He goes, well, nobody will believe me if I say 26. I go, oh, yeah, now I understand. Yeah,
Has he always been so funny?
constantly. It's back and forth with him and me, and it's so great. He knows my humor, and he kind of waits for me to give it to him. Once in a while, he'll get me because I have a baby face, more or less, and he'll throw me a towel once in a while when I didn't shave, and I go, "Yeah, you got some dirt on your face." He'd say to me, "I'm like, really?" He goes, "Yeah." I remember leaving he's down in Florida. I remember leaving my razor down there,
Mm-hmm.
and I came back to go get it. Next visit, he came out of the bathroom with it, and he'd had it for like 4 months by the last time I visited. And in the meantime, my brother had been there. So I go, why didn't you just give it to my brother? You could have gave it to him. And he goes, well, you didn't need it. You never shave anyway, do you? I'm like, wow. So he's always giving me that little side jab. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's great. I think he got me with one too, where it was like, we're going to, what was that? Supermarket down there.
Piggly Wiggly.
Publix. No, Publix. Publix.
Publix is,
Yeah, we're going to Publix, and the sense of humor is great. He saw me with a little bit of a beer gut going, not huge by any means, but to his standards, it's big. And I go, "Do you want me to drive?" He goes, "No, get in the passenger seat because I don't have the extended seatbelt on the driver." I'm like, wow.
Wow.
So it's always something with him, but
rough crowd.
yeah, he knows I'm picked up on a lot of his stuff, and
Yeah.
I use some of his humor.
It's a
So.
show of love, it is.
It all is.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I do get reminded once in a while.
All right. Now that you're in your 60s, do you do anything differently from when you were in your 40s or 50s?
Eating, yeah, less portions. I think I've
Mm-hmm.
cut back on a lot of that. Healthier dieting, and a lot of fiber. We don't want to go down that route. So yeah, fruits and fiber. So yeah, it's Yeah.
Do you have any
eating other-
prunes in your cabinet?
No, I haven't gone to the prune yet. That's the sign, right? That.
I think that's the 70 plus crowd.
Prune juice.
Yeah. Signing up for the AARP as well. That's another sign. So yeah, there's a few signs there, I suppose. But
I went to the Rolling Stones concert back in May, and it was sponsored by AARP.
there you go.
Their tour is sponsored by AA. There's an AARP
right
booth.
there.
It's might as well
Yeah.
lean into it, you know?
It just cracks me up.
Right. And we used to go to concerts sponsored by like beer companies or something like
Mhm.
that. Or or like athletic wear gear or something. Yeah.
Under Armour.
Yeah, Fitbit, something like that. And now we're going to ones with AARP sponsorship. What else?
The prune industry.
Yeah. And so yeah, absolutely.
Brought
Yeah,
to you by
Depends.
Fiber.
Brought to you by Depends. Yeah. So yeah, we're there. I mean, it's if you take it in good sense of humor and don't take it seriously, it's all good. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, looking back on your 60 plus years, what are you most proud of?
raising the kids,
Mm-hmm.
also kind of following in my mom and dad's footsteps a little bit on the way they raised us. So
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of that, I guess. Yeah, just a really good life with family, and knowing that my family and I are very close,
Mhm.
and we still stay in touch. We love each other to death, and I'm glad we have that.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of proud of all that too. So
Mhm.
Oh, that's great.
Great.
What's your biggest challenge in being 60 plus?
boy, that's a good one. Biggest challenge. Well, being single. Let's add that in. How's that? If you throw the add single thing in, yeah, that's the bigger challenge, I guess. Finding my best friend to date. So I think as you get older in the dating scene, it's kind of different. And then you want to find your best friend first. So that's been the difficult, I think, challenge so far as I'm turning 60. And honestly, 60 is getting close, to retirement and more freedom and all that. So yeah, I want to be able to share that with somebody eventually. And so
And it's so different from when we were dating back at our dating ages.
well, yeah, we
Mhm.
always heard from a friend of ours, right? Oh, you'd like, Michelle, blah, 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 because, she's a good person. And at least you have that little bit of a background from somebody that you trust and know. Here we're dealing with strangers more or less,
Mhm.
and you don't know where they've been, what they've been doing, who have they been with. There's a whole history that you have to find out. So that's a bit of a challenge, yeah. And then again, I think as we're older, we look for more things too. I think it's at the younger age, we're kind of looking for that, marriage, kids, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to find a house to live in. And so it's
Mhm.
easier that way. You're in the same situation with the other person. And here we're older and wiser, I hope, and looking for, a little bit of that friendship more,
Mhm.
than you are. Yeah.
That makes sense.
How about what is your biggest delight at 60 plus?
Knowing that I could retire early if I wanted to, I think you kind of have the less stress over stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing I got enough to fulfill my dream of retirement, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I could do it like tomorrow if I wanted to. I just feel like I'm too young to quit working.
Right.
So I feel like, and work is easy and it's great. So I feel blessed, for
Mm-hmm.
all that. What I've accomplished for work and how I've saved enough to kind of have a happy retirement. So
It's a good
Yeah.
place to be.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
All right. What 60 plus person do you admire the most?
Will be my dad for sure. Number one.
That we haven't had that answer before.
No.
Yeah.
That's a great
No,
answer.
it is a great answer.
Grew up with good family, like uncles. I had strange and good stories with all of them, and really close with them. And they've had an amazing life, all of them coming over. They all came from Croatia, so I do speak the language, which was kind of nice to know. But them coming over, their stories individually are amazing, and my dad and his best friend, who happens to be like an uncle by choice, have an amazing story coming over, and I'm so proud of them, of what they have accomplished. They came here with nothing, a quarter in their pocket, my dad said, and made themselves a family and had us, and you know, um, So for him to do all that, out of love for his kids, and it's amazing. So yeah,
That's
yeah.
inspiring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I could write a movie about how he came over. It's leaking rowboat from Croatia to Italy,
Wow.
bailing water out as he's trying to paddle over using the stars as navigation. So, I mean, he's a 16, 17-year-old kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
amazing. I mean, here we are. I'm 60. I don't think I could think about doing something like that. It's amazing that he did that at 16, knowing that he wanted to better himself and find life somewhere else where it was, at the time it was former Yugoslavia, which was communist. So he wanted to get out, and his dad told him to get out because there was nothing for him there. Tiny little island in the middle of Croatia is a chain of islands, smallest island, habitable island in the chain. And
Mm.
yeah, tiny little houses, and total right now of 25 of them there. And at the time, it was church, it was school, it was living, it was fishing. That's all he did on the
Right.
island.
Mhm.
Never left the island.
Right.
So,
Wow.
for him to get out of there, and find the world, it's kind of
So the motivation, I think back to my grandparents who
Yeah.
came from Italy, and the motivation for them to give up everything they knew
Mm-hmm.
and come to a place that they had nothing. I don't know. Well, I guess I haven't been in a situation that would give me that motivation. But imagine what they went through where that motivation was strong enough to give up everything they knew.
We like to bust myths about being 60 plus. Is there any myths you would like us to bust?
Yeah, can you give me an example of a myth?
Let's say we've had like 60 plus people
Can't use technology.
can't use technology.
Yeah, that's a good one. That we have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night every time. I don't.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to do a podcast on that.
You're gonna film me? Is that what it is?
on
But I'll
bladder
bet-
control.
But I'll,
Yeah,
I'll bet you have friends and your older brother. I'll bet some of them have to.
Do you think so?
Ask them. They do.
I
I,
will.
I have friends that are like, oh, I'm up like 2-3 times a night. I'm like, go to the doctor. There's something going on there.
I don't think I have. I know I don't. I don't know if
don't.
I have any friends that do. To be honest with you, but they're a
Well, you
little
have to have a
younger
big
than me,
sleepover and find out.
Big sleepover.
but- Okay. Janet, do we leave the bedroom at 2?
Wait, I thought
3?
we were talking about men.
No, I'm asking you now.
You're 60 plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can answer that too.
So I drink a lot of water. So
So the answer is yes.
Yeah,
So that's a
there
yes.
we go.
All right. What advice would you give to someone who is about to turn 60?
Get yourself in shape. I think
Mm.
it's going to be important that I'm glad that my dad instilled that in me because he's in phenomenal shape. But yeah, eat healthy. Go to the doctors, please. Go for your checkups. Don't sit at home and thinking that you're okay.
Mm.
Always go in periodically. Do your duty. I work for a company that disinfects scopes, so for endoscopy. So I always encourage people to go there. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we don't stop there.
Yeah. Okay. One last question.
Yeah,
Do you have a bucket list? And if so, what's on it?
traveling for sure. I would love to. I mentioned a story about my father on the boat. I would love to do that trip that he did when he was 16.
In a rowboat?
Not in a leaky rowboat.
Yeah,
Navigating
think,
by the
yeah,
stars.
it'd be more like a glamping style of
Yeah.
boating, I suppose. It wouldn't be the rickety rowboat that's leaking. Yeah, it would be a little bit safer, I suppose, and more comfortable. But yeah, I would love to do the actual journey all the way through, where he stayed in Italy and all that. And so yeah, it's close enough to do and easy enough to do. Yeah, that would be a bucket list thing. And then I've never been to parts of Far East like Asia, and so I would like to see that before I go.
Mm-hmm.
In Africa as well, but everywhere else I've been for work really, and it's been nice that I could actually do that on a company dime, which is kind of cool.
Right.
I love learning about cultures and other people, how they live and what they do for a living, all that great stuff. So
Mm.
history too, big
Cool.
on history. So yeah.
All right. That's the 10 questions.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions
Did
for
it
us?
hurt?
I felt a sharp pain on my side, but
From
about it.
laughing.
Yes, from laughing.
No, it's
Oh,
from
yeah,
being
no, it was
60
great.
plus.
Yeah, it is. 60. There's nothing to be scared of. It's a great time in your life. Actually, I think it's fantastic. So
Yay. I love that.
I agree.
That's why we're doing this podcast, right, Joe?
It is. It is
Yep.
exactly why we're doing it. And we're in our second year of doing it now.
I know. Thank you for being our first guest on our second year.
I
Yeah.
feel honored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should be.
I'm amongst stars here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minor celebrities. Janet,
Yes.
we got to remind people to tell their friends about 60 Plus Podcast.
Yes.
The website, 60
Yes.
Plus Podcast. Plus is spelled out, the numerals 60 plus
Okay. I'm already confused.
.com, 60pluspodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can listen. It's where you can get in touch with us. I think there's some pictures of us. Even.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Scary.
I know, right. And listen wherever you listen to podcasts for free.
Yeah. And please follow and share.
Please.
Yeah. And special thank you to David for
Thank
being
you.
with
do
us
I, do
today.
I get my margarita right now? Is that the going away margarita? Is that?
Were you told there would be
There was
margaritas?
supposed to be one. Yes.
All right. Well, we'll
It's
talk about that
only
off air.
12:30.
Wow, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for this episode of the 60 Plus Podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.